They're the liberal rednecks. They like cornbread and butt sex. They care way too much but don't give a fuck. They're the liberal rednecks that makes some people upset, but they got three big old dicks that you can suck.
Well, here we are. Here we are indeed, here on WellRED. Drew is no longer with us. I believe he's finally succumbed, giving up the ghost. Drew dead.
Mm-hmm. Yep, rest in peace, Drew.
Yeah, he'll be back from the dead hopefully next week. Is this just the second week that I know that all three of us, I feel like, haven't been on here together on this show in like a month or something, but
we ran a rerun 3 weeks ago, and then for the past 2 weeks, it's just been me and you. So, yeah, it has been a little Drew-less just by coincidence.
But Drew, he have the flu. Y'all remember the flu? That's still a thing. Obviously, Drew's real old and decrepit nowadays, so it's pretty serious for him. He could end up in the hospital, I fear. But yeah, no, he got the actual flu, so that's why he ain't here today. So
I was about to say, with as old and run down and as much of a sick, old, just decrepit dog that he is, like one of those dogs with like milk eyes and two teeth that their teeth show over their gum. Them dogs are like that, and they're fidgeting, and they've only got whiskers on the one side of their face. As much as Drew is that, he actually rarely is too sick to do the show, so I got to give it up to him. Like, either the boy is just tough, or I don't know, because like his heart's wrong, his organs can't be right because of the way his butt smell. There's no way his organs are good, right? Something in there is dying.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because let's just get right into farts. I guess if Kim Cusado's listening to this, she'll have something to chime in on it later because she's a fart doctor, obviously. But stuff that's like hippie type shit, and also like protein powders and stuff like that. They be making oftentimes your farts be worse, right? Don't you agree?
Agreed. Yes, I've said this before. Like people go, "Oh, you must have ate something bad. Your farts smell bad." And I'm like, no, actually, when I eat healthier, they're bad.
Right.
But there's a different type of bad. Like there is like, that like instinctually, I think I've talked about this before, but instinctually we look to our own farts to tell us things about ourselves. Like it's an instinct we have. That's why I always know, like, oh shit, I'm about to get sick, because I'll smell and it's a sick fart. And there's a difference, but a sick fart is stinky and a protein fart is stinky. But I know the difference between that's a healthy stink and that's a bad stink. And I say all that to say this, dude, Drew's ass smells like you pulled the hood off a car that's been in a barn for as long as anybody can remember, and a possum had crawled up in there and died a week and a half before. And that's not protein.
He do got dead possum butt, that's for sure. It is that's a very apt description for those of y'all that have never had the pleasure of smelling Drew's butt. That's pretty close. I'm looking at your hat there. I just saw one of the top posts on Reddit yesterday was about that little cord,
the ropes
on the front of your hat. Yeah. People were like, what is this? Some kids, I guess, or whatever, just found out about them because, and then there was a big argument in the comments about whether or not they're coming back. They're trendy again or whatever.
They're definitely, they've been coming back.
Do you? Because I know you're a hat man. You're a connoisseur.
Yeah, I know everything.
Like. So right. So do you know what those are like? What those are or what they're for? Those ropes?
No, I don't. I'll tell you this. I'll give you a little explanation, and I assume you're going to tell me. I've never thought to look it up ever, but I know that like now they're put on everything, but traditionally they've only like, I remember when I was a kid, Jasper Parnevik and Fred Couples and a bunch of these older golfers, they're old now, but at the time they were the one, like all their hats had a rope on them. And so I always associated it with golf, but then also my papaw had a bunch of them, and I saw some like Army, Navy type hats that had them. And I was like, well, maybe it's a sailor thing because my papaw was a sailor. I'm the son of a sailor. Rest in peace, Jimmy Buffett. But now I assume it's purely an aesthetic thing. But I have to think that at some point there was a reason other than aesthetics that they would have done this. Was it for sweat?
Man, I know you are a hat wearing son of a bitch. I know that you be knowing your hats, but still, it only is going to have that impact on me because I was the one who read this Reddit thread. But what you just did was wild because you essentially
Why?
just chat GPT'd the entire conversation in the comment section of that Reddit thread about, and I mean all of it. Like
Really?
you literally covered every single aspect of it, of like the discussion, because the whole post was a picture of a hat. If y'all are only listening, you know, like think of an old school hat or like a trucker hat. It's got a little cord, a little
Rope on
rope
it.
in front of, like right there where the bill meets the hat, the dome,
The front part.
the front
Face.
part of
We'll
the
say the
hat
face.
part, the bill
Yeah.
meets the face. Yeah, above the
Yeah.
little rope up there. Somebody posted on Reddit, was like, "What the hell is this?" And again, in the comments, all these different people saying all these different things, and you pretty much just covered every single one of them. So
That's
people
amazing.
were like,
Is this a hat subreddit? Because I'm not on any of those. That's crazy that I'm not.
No, it was on. There's a pretty popular subreddit called it's r/what is it, where it's like you just take a picture of a thing. You're like, what is this thing? So that this guy posted it on there. But anyway, you know, there were people be like, I think it's a golf thing. It's like golf. Like people put like scorecards or like tees or stuff in the little rope or whatever. So it really was just a golf hat, and then it spread around. And then there were some other people being like, well, it's not just golf because like I'm a fisherman and I'll keep flies in my little rope or whatever up there. So it's like it's useful for that type of thing. And then other people were like, okay, so that's all kind of answer. That just happened that way. That's sort of coincidental. What it actually is it's vestigial, you know, like our butt bones be vestigial. Well, I don't know about the whole butt bone, but we got little, you can't see our tails, but we still have like tiny little almost tails hidden inside our butts,
I've heard that
from when we was monkeys and stuff.
Yeah.
So we don't
some
need
people still protrudes a little bit, such as shallow howls.
Right. So that's called vestigial, stuff that's like left over. Used to be useful, is no longer useful, but it's still kind of around. We were like, it's vestigial. What it originates from was like the evolution of hats. What hats used to be, that would have been like a chin strap. Like they've said in the Navy and in military hats, they give an example. They like, if you look at them and there's a strap in the same spot on some of these old Navy hats, but you could pull it down and put it under your chin. And they were like, that's
for the wind.
It's how it, came to be a thing. But and then finally everybody's like, but all that aside, now it's 100% just purely aesthetics, decorative, just, it just, people think that it hits harder, or it's nice.
It does, I think.
Nice little element to add to a hat to sort of set it off. So it's just a thing people do for looks now. So you
my
pretty
only
much
problem with
covered all
this
that.
one actually is that it's roughly the same color as the hat. I think it should be more gold to sort of bifurcate it a little bit, create a little, a break in the pattern. But I do think that it gives it just a little extra,
Je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi, je ne sais quoi. But oddly enough, I have a Tennessee Titans golf hat that I really love, and I was thinking, I could put my tees there, but it already has 2 slots on the side for which to put tees, so I don't. But yeah, I've never thought about using it for anything other than it's just a thing that hits. Were you going to talk about that anyways, and I just happen to have this hat on?
No, honestly, no. It's weird how often that happens, but I had,
it does.
But I'd forgotten about that post, and then I saw your hat, and it reminded me of it. But what I was going to bring up, because we pre-record SKUs now. It hasn't come out yet. By the time people hear this, SKUs will have already come out. But obviously, we spent more than 30 minutes talking about it. I've already put out a stand-up clip, and I'm going to put out another video about it. So I've done a lot of talking about it. But the whole, the great Cracker Barrel fiasco of 2025, the main thing I wanted to at least start with you about was, because I feel like it's, kind of getting lost in the shuffle by a lot of people, but also I'm not sure where you land on this, and it has the potential to, incite disagreement, which might hit for people. But where are you at on just the food, the actual menu offerings at a Cracker Barrel?
I've said
where do you rate them? How hard do they hit for you?
Insanely hard. I've said this since the jump, but only really. But I'm judging them based on basically one meal, so I don't really know overall how everything is, because I've pretty much gotten the same thing every time. So I'll admit that, unless you say, no, Corey, the thing that you get sucks, then I'll be like, I can't. Like, I get pancakes, and they are, and this ain't just me saying this. There's a lot of people saying this, including friend of the show, Roy Wood Jr., because we've had long conversations about it. They have the best pancakes in the world because they are both fluffy on the inside but crispy on the outside. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And also, they do what a lot of restaurants don't do. A lot of restaurants just throw you like cold butter. No, theirs is already softened up, ready to go. Not melted, but softened up, so you don't have to sit there and destroy your pancake with your knife and, ruffle it up. The syrup is their own syrup, and it comes warm, and I like that. I've always thought that I was more of a colder or room temp syrup type person because that's how we had it at my house. But Cracker Barrel told me onto the warm syrup, and also they give you enough to where you can take a bottle home, and they're not stingy with it. They don't charge you anymore for the syrups. They're like, well, if you need it, it's great. Comes in a little glass bottle. You can use them. You can refill them with whiskey. Use them as little airplane shots. Fantastic. Love the pancakes. So this whole thing that's been going on, all I've said is, listen, as long as I don't fuck with the pancake recipe, I don't care. I could care. I mean, I say I could care less. Yes, I'll admit that since I've been going to Cracker Barrel since I was a kid, with my grandmother, with my dad, now with my son, the aesthetic does a lot for me. I like that because it's been the same my whole life. And we have, me and my dad go there every Christmas Eve. That's our tradition. We go there and then we get all our shopping done. It's going to be a bummer that it looks more corporate inside. And by the way, that's all this is. It has nothing to do with woke.
Okay.
It's all fucking corporate.
Right.
But
yes.
as long as they don't change the pancakes,
that's
I'm fine.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I just wanted to, because I feel like a lot of people aren't even talking about the food, and I know you'd have strong opinions. But yeah, as far as the scandal itself, that's my take or angle on the whole thing too. I agree completely. It's like, look, it don't hit. Like, I think it clearly is a mistake, but it's a mistake for, like you said,
it's not a liberal thing.
It's yet another example of like just the enshittification of everything, bland corporate minimalism,
which is extremely conservative Republican, by the way.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's fucking late stage capitalist dystopia type shit or whatever, which that's, their other religion is capitalism. Some would say the primary religion is capitalism, but it's that it sucks in that way. Like, there's not, I've been part of the video I'm about to make when I get done with you, or I'm planning on making, is about how, like, I don't even really get how, like, it's hard for me to even wrap my head around how that it's even supposed to be woke. Do you know what I'm saying?
And change bad.
And changes. That's actually
it's 100%. It's just changed, Trey.
Pretty much what I end up saying. Well, it's like it's changed. I feel like it's anything new or different that they do not like, right? Because if you can change something,
right,
obviously,
tallow fries now, not
that
woke.
hits for them. That hits for them.
Right.
Not what? Yeah,
it hits
exactly.
for me too. For the record,
anything, right? But anything new or different that they don't like, but it doesn't matter what the reason is. They don't like it. If they don't like it, and it's new, that means it must be woke, even if that doesn't make any fucking sense at all. It's literally just that. But also, it's like, was it just that the removal of a papaw makes something inherently woke? You know what I mean? Like, you take papaws make things less woke, I guess.
I do think that helps their argument in their brain.
Right.
In their brain, I think people would have gone crazy anyways because change equals bad. But I do believe that a number of them are so tinfoil hatted that they are only seeing it as they're taking a white papaw, which actually he's yellow. So possibly a Chinese papaw.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Mark said too. Yeah.
Did he really? Nice.
Yeah, I don't think he said possibly
Chinese record,
but he said, well, I mean, like, it's not. You couldn't have listened to this one. It's not out yet, so there's no way for you to have known.
I just need everybody to know I'm not copying you.
No, but. Yeah, but I just don't. But this is what I keep trying to get across, and the stand up bit when I talked about it on stage this weekend, part of what I said, but it is just that, like, the idea that these people genuinely believe, okay, whatever, change that don't hit is woke, the absence of a papaw, those things are woke, ergo this is woke. Even considering all that, the idea that these people believe that Cracker Barrel, of all, like, places in 2025, post the last election, in this cultural climate
If
that
you made
we're
it
in.
through Obama, you don't have to do it now.
That crack, yeah, exactly. No, dude, it's the opposite now.
I know.
Like
Steak and
corporations.
Shake's killing it.
I said it right. I might need to throw in a reference to them doing that because in the video, I was just something about like, performative wokeness is over. Performative patriotism is what's up
It's
now.
so
it's the exact opposite. So it's
well,
like
you could do nothing. That's also an
Right.
option.
You seems like the hitness thing to do right now is probably just nothing. But if you're,
Nothing.
but just the idea that fucking again in the midst of that climate, as Cracker Barrel with the demographic they have, the idea that they were like, and I said this on stage, but in their board of directors are sitting there. It's like, listen, if we don't succumb to the pressure of the woke mob,
I know, it's so stupid.
then we're never going to survive. It's like, it just blows my mind. Like nothing about it makes any sense. It's like, I don't know why I'm getting so spun up over them not making sense. You know what I mean?
No, it's this one.
Nothing makes fucking sense anymore. But it's like,
because this is South Park parody levels of
right.
Of
Even
things.
for
it's
them,
it's
yeah, right.
Because,
yes,
and I'll make this
right.
further claim. Okay, it is specifically because that is their demographic that this is even talked about or going so insane. Because hold on, I have a fucking alarm going off. I'll do it later. Cracker Barrel's changing not only their logo, but they're changing their store. Right, it's gonna be like all square, just like a lot of other places are doing.
All of them.
Taco Bell did it, no one cared. McDonald's did it, no one cared. Pizza Hut did it, no one cared. Long John Silver's did it, no one cared.
Too. Yeah, right.
Okay, so let me fucking explain to you. And this is, you can get this. You don't even have to be smart. You just had to have watched a movie called The Founder about Ray Kroc, the McDonald's, the man who created McDonald's, right? One thing you should know, Keaton. It's an awesome movie. It's surprisingly, I wouldn't consider it like a rewatchable movie like Shawshank and The Departed, yet for some reason I've watched it a ton. I just love Keaton. I just love him so much. The one thing that Ray Kroc, and a lot of people took this as their business plan for restaurants and franchisees or whatever, is that the restaurant is ancillary. You're in the real estate business, right?
Yep.
You're in the real estate business. So if you're able to get one of these places zoned commercial, right? You own the land, because if not, you're leasing from somebody and they're making the real money, even when your shit goes out. So you buy the land, then put your restaurant up there. And then if the restaurant don't work, guess what? You can still sell the fucking land that's on the side of the goddamn highway, right? Fast forward, they're all doing that, right? But then they have, I guess, I don't know if it was just now had this realization or if it's over the years fucking with a bunch of idiots, not idiots, but people that only think in ones and zeros in a boardroom. Like, if your restaurant looks like a Pizza Hut or it looks like a McDonald's, like, you're going to have to tear down the whole fucking place. But if it's square, you can put a hair salon in there tomorrow. You know,
that's
and
100%
like that has to be
true.
what's going on. That's all it is. So again, I say to you, this is not woke. This is fucking exactly what you voted for. This is, they don't give a shit about you unless you are a shareholder. Are you a shareholder? No, you just eat the fucking pancakes. If you're a shareholder, they care about you, and the shareholders care about the fact that they can still liquidate some of that money in case foot traffic slows the fuck down, because a generation of people who are going to Cracker Barrel are fucking dying and they're never coming back. That's what's happening. They are preparing for the ultimate end. But if you just let them pancakes sing, baby, you'd never have to.
Yeah, Mark tried to go into this whole thing. I mean, with Mark being Mark, he had numbers and shit, but about how, they've been falling off a little bit, like numbers wise recently. Cracker Barrel had, but like he acknowledged that whole sector has been,
everybody has, right?
Pretty much everybody, especially like fast casual dining, like chains. You know what I mean? Like people either, don't have the money to do it, or if they do have the money to do it, they try to go to like a place that actually hits, as opposed to like that type of stuff.
Because they're the same price now.
Right. And so and so their numbers have been like flagging, and he was talking about that in the context of this. But then at one point he took that and took it like, they were failing anyway, so they were desperate or whatever. And he was like, they don't realize, that their demographic is nobody anymore, whatever. And I was like, well, buddy, hold on. I was like, look, I was like, dude, I'll tell you this. If me and Kate and the boys are back in Tennessee and we're all like in fucking, somewhere outside we're in Spring Hill at the, going like Christmas shopping or something like that or whatever, everybody's all together. Like it don't even get, no question is even asked. Like
it's Cracker
you
Barrel.
Just go to Cracker Barrel. Right. Like
it's going to be the same and good every time.
but it's also, but just like that, whatever demographic, like my in-laws are, like
Yeah.
Cracker Barrel is they shit. They fuck with it. You know, like it's
Yeah,
definitely
hard.
a cultural thing. I was like, it doesn't have the same sort of like cult of personality, cultural cachet that like fucking Waffle House does or whatever.
Of
But
course.
like, but it has a version of that, I think, with like, you know, country ass people or whatever, like people I went to high
I
school
think
with.
the
And
Waffle
shit.
House to
So,
Cracker Barrel pipeline is true though. Like I think I fuck with Cracker Barrel now in the same as I used to fuck with Waffle House because I'm not drinking now. Cracker Barrel is just Waffle House for people for it not being 2 a.m. You know what I mean? Like I still crave. I want cake, right? What I want for dinner is cake, but I can't do that because people look at me weird. But what I can do is
right.
have pancakes. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, well, because I asked you the question, didn't answer. We've probably talked about it before, but I like having said what I just said. Again, I go there a ton. It don't not hit for me, but I've always kind of thought that Cracker Barrel was a bit overrated by people. Having
Sure.
said that, I don't. I've never had their pancakes because I'm not a.
What? What?
I'm not a big. I'm not a.
Woo!
I don't ever really get pancakes. I know this is,
Right.
you know,
Well, you
it's
know
going to be
me.
a
You know your boy.
schism between us. Yeah, here, but I just don't. I don't know. Like if I want breakfast stuff, I want like some runny eggs and some bacon and like some
I get
hash
that
browns
too.
and
That
that
on the
type of
side.
shit.
I get
Right.
all
But
that with the pancakes.
I just don't. I don't know. Like it's not like I dislike pancakes. I just don't ever choose
Yeah, I hear you.
pancakes.
Well,
And
that's,
so
by the way,
like
that's normal, I think, and should be. I
and
shouldn't be having pancakes a lot, but I do.
right. But so I've never even had their pancakes there, but I've had a bunch of their other stuff. I like to, you know, I'll switch. I've been there many times and I've switched it up often, and I find that it's all, you know, like
Fine.
it don't not hit. It's all fine
Right.
to me. It's like it's
Oh, I
just
can tell you
fine.
that
Like
their hash brown casserole has gone down in quality over the
yep,
years. I still
yep,
fuck with it because as a side, it's whatever. But used to, it was
right,
like I felt about their hash brown casserole the way my parents' generation felt about McDonald's fries, where it was like this is a place where the side is the main attraction. You know what I mean? It was so good and nobody else had it, and they just I think it's I mean completely all frozen now. Like it's never so like I'll agree with you. Like it, again, I can't say to anybody that don't eat the pancakes, I can't argue with you on any of it because there's a reason I just get the pancakes. That's the thing that hits for me there. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, man, their hash brown casserole's gone down in quality, and I have to assume so has everything else. If their main hitter went down in quality, I bet their green beans are ass too. You know?
right. But again, but what all you know? Again, talking about corporate and shitification. Like what hasn't? You know, like
Right. They're paying
what
their
hasn't gotten
pancakes. That's
worse
what
in
has it.
some way? Like literally everything has gotten worse. And
Yeah.
like you said, that's because of capitalism,
Yeah.
which
100%.
is y'all's shit. Y'all being the people that are mad at them for being woke.
We've
Like
been
all
the
these
ones
problems
telling
go
you to
back to
get farm raised, bitch. Like, what the fuck?
right. Yeah. I don't know. People used to just, if you had a business that hit and was successful, and you like, there was an ethos that went along with that. You like, cause you did the right, you had a good product and treated your customers well. And that's how that worked. And everybody understood that. And then somewhere along the way, like during, you know, Saint Ronald Reagan's era, corporations decided that like just hitting wasn't enough. You have to
Enough.
like, you have to literally always grow or fucking fire everybody and tear everything down. Like it's not acceptable if you're not constantly expanding, which is like a nonsensical concept to me.
For a
You know,
restaurant to
like
do.
yeah, for anything. I mean, I know that
Right.
like fucking Amazon or whatever, it continues but eventually, I mean, what's the end game of that? Are you watching that new Alien show on FX?
No, because Amber's never seen any of the
rules.
movies. And I want
me
to.
and my boys are loving it. It's Tuesday. I forget it comes out tonight. Oh hell yeah, we've been loving that fucking show. But it's set in a future Earth where there are no governments anymore. There's 5 mega corporations, and they operate
we're
as the
not far
governments
off.
of these. Right? It's like that's
Actually, no, you know
the
what?
end
We're
state
there.
of right.
We're
pretty
there.
much.
We just don't say it out loud. At least
Yeah,
in this
right.
show, they're saying it out loud. But like, bro, Elon bought the fucking election. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like,
Yes.
yeah. Well, that's great. I do want to watch it, but Amber's never seen any of the Alien movies, and so I'm going to use this as an opportunity for us and Bane. I think Bane's ready. He's 2.5. You know what I mean?
I mean, I
He's
don't
ready.
know. I don't know where Amber will go with it, but I mean, Katie could not have any less interest in it. It feels like a very like it's.
Well, that'll
You
be
know.
fine too, because then I can jump right to the show.
I mean, it's classic like Alien. Like there's a lot of like, people getting ripped apart by space monsters and stuff, which
Bane
of course
loves that shit.
hits for me very hard, and
Yeah,
my
I love that.
sons too. So, but it's also like it's made by the guy that made the Fargo TV show, which is one of my favorite
what's
things.
that guy's name?
Noah Hawley.
No, oh goddamn, dude, he's on
He's
my
the
list
shit.
of hitters.
Right? Yeah, for sure.
Man, that show, like, I actually rewatched Fargo recently, like the movie, and it's obviously one of my favorite movies ever. I love the Coen brothers, but like, I kind of fuck with like I would rather rewatch the show. Like the show's like a different.
It's a little bit unfair because there's only Fargo. The movie is like one thing. Noah Hawley. Part of what made Noah Hawley so good, and I would argue so far he's doing a lot of this with Alien, the world of Alien too. But he like really captured the fucking
tone,
atmosphere, and tone and essence of the Coen brothers movies, which I feel like cannot be easy to do. But he really nailed it.
People tried to do it for years.
Well, so but I'm saying, but
sometimes the Coen brothers can't even do it.
They are them. Like they're the ones who set that tone with the first movie. So, so you kind of got to give them the fucking,
I mean, of course.
But also, that movie's just a 90-minute, super tight, really kick-ass movie. But it's one movie. Good. Fargo, the TV show, has like 5 seasons or whatever. And season 2 of Fargo is one of my favorite seasons of television that's ever been made by anybody in any context ever.
I guess what I meant was, and you know this, but maybe everybody doesn't, like Coens are like my numero uno. So this is just me giving very high praise to the show that I would would rather watch season 1 of Fargo than watch the movie again, or season 2. Yeah. Season 2 is that's the Patrick Wilson season, right?
Yes. Oh my God.
Oh God.
Yes.
Dude, that fucking speech he gives in the goddamn car to who's he talking to?
Literally my favorite. He's talking to Kirsten Dunst. Dunst. That's where Kirsten Dunst met Jesse Plemons, by the way. Yep. They're all fire. Her and Jesse Plemons play a married couple in that show. That's how they met in real life. Now they're a real married couple. But yeah, he's talking to her and he just talks about like the lengths that a man will go to for his family, basically.
Oh man,
and
it's awesome.
Like I think literally is my favorite monologue in the history of television. I think
so. You sent that to me before I'd seen the show, but I didn't have kids when you sent it to me, and I was like, I knew that it hit. And then when we had Bane and I was staying at home a lot, I had forgot that was what the show was from, and I just started watching that show. And when it got to that scene, boy, I welled up. I was ready. Like, I'm a huge puss, don't get me wrong, but in that moment, I was just like, come through my door right now. I was ready to go Robert Baratheon on a sumbitch for my baby,
Yeah, no, it hit so hard for me. One of my favorite things. I'll tell you what one of my other favorite things, though, is, and I've said this for years, HelloFresh, who just so happens to be this week's sponsor. If y'all been around for a long time, you know that even when they're not a sponsor, I still sing their praises. I've been a devoted subscriber for like literally a decade now. It's been that long. Before I moved to California, which was nearly 9 years ago, I was already on HelloFresh. It is my jam. If you haven't heard me talk about it, you may have heard of HelloFresh from other places. What they do is they send you chef-crafted recipes and fresh ingredients to your home, right? But they've been around for a while, crushing it for a while. But this summer, they've made their biggest menu upgrade yet. This is not the HelloFresh you remember. It's bigger. HelloFresh has doubled its menu. Now you can choose from over 100 options each week, including new seasonal dishes and recipes from around the world. You can dig into bigger portions that'll keep everyone satisfied. Honestly, sometimes I almost feel a little paralyzed by the level of choice that they offer you in HelloFresh. HelloFresh is also now healthier. You can feel great with an even healthier menu filled with high protein and veggie-packed recipes. HelloFresh will help you eat greener with veggie-packed recipes that have 2 or more veggies each, and HelloFresh is now tastier. They got steak and seafood recipes delivered extra every week for no extra cost. They got 3 times more seafood options on the menu now. They got everything from scrimps to, as me and Cho have mentioned before, barramundi, which is the hot new fish. They got the hot new fish over there, and then classics like salmon and tilapia to boot. So again, I love HelloFresh. I have for a long time. Here are the things I like most about it, I think. Number one, I have a real hang up with wasting things, especially wasting food in particular. And I used to be real bad about it despite my best efforts. I go grocery shopping, get too much stuff, wait to cook it. And now it's burnt. I got to throw it out, whatever. With HelloFresh, that's completely taken care of because they do the shopping part for you. Number two, I like cooking. I like experimenting a little bit. And with HelloFresh, I get into stuff I never in a million years would have attempted before. Like there's this stuff called a halloumi grilling cheese. It's fire. Like a fillet of cheese that you grill like a steak. I had no idea it was a thing. You'll never believe this. super hits for me. I find stuff like that through HelloFresh that my country ass would never have found otherwise. So I'm a big fan. And now the best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/WellRED 10FM. That's WellRED 10FM to get 10 free meals and a free item for life. One per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That's HelloFresh.com/WellRED 10FM to get 10 free meals and a free item for life. HelloFresh. Make a hit.
Y'all, there's several things that Hims can't do, like it's not going to be able to fix your snoring or your blanket stealing wife or anything like that. But when it comes to performance of the sexual nature, they've got you covered. Take control of ED, that's erectile dysfunction for people that are not used to abbreviations, with personalized treatments made with proven ingredients prescribed by licensed providers 100% online. Through Hims, you can access personalized prescription treatment options for ED, like hard mints, I'm sure pun intended, sex prescription plus climax control. Now that's not bad. That's not a bad thing. Make you last a little bit longer, maybe not embarrass yourself, especially on a first date. ED treatment options, like I said, from the hard mints, and they're generics that cost 95% less than brand names. You don't need a brand name as long as it's got the right stuff in there, and you shouldn't have to go out of your way to feel like yourself. They bring expert care straight to you. You can do it all online. You don't have to go see anybody. And, you know, maybe I was always like this, I don't know, but during the lockdown, I realized if I don't have to go somewhere, I'm not going to go somewhere. So this stuff is awesome for me, and I'm sure for a lot of you out there, to get simple online access to personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, where were y'all when I was in high school, weight loss, okay, I'm listening, and more. Visit hims.com/wellread. That's hims.com/wellread for your free online visit. hims.com/wellread. Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products include compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify, nor for safety or effectiveness or quality. Prescription required. See website for details, restrictions, and its important safety information. And we thank Hims for sponsoring the podcast. Skew.
Mm-hmm.
You think barramundi at this point, though, is like the hot semi-new fish, or has there been a fish
That's what I was about to say.
Taken its place? Because we've been saying that for like 5 years, but I still believe it.
You're right. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. There'd have to be a new fish to come in and supplant. Well, I guess no. I mean, you're right. It like.
Well, what's the new fish? We hear about fishes.
Okay, but even if they ain't a new fish, you can't just stay the new fish. Like you can only be the new fish at first, you know, the hot new fish. Then you become eventually, like recently on
hot fish,
just the hot fish. You can stay the hot fish,
right?
But you can't just be the hot new fish anymore. You're right. Even if there isn't someone that supplanted you. It's like on a recent episode of POA, our sister podcast putting on air, is that we got to talk about Old Ebbets, right, in DC, our favorite restaurant there, and it used to. Humorously to me, it used to be called New Ebbets, and then eventually it was just called Ebbets, and now it's called Old Ebbets, which I would argue is exactly how things should work. Yeah, right.
Yeah, fair enough.
Exactly. Well, like I commend them for that particular evolution.
It's funny. Speaking of putting on airs, I was about to say, like, I'm still in the habit, which is stupid, and this is more about how time marches insanely fast without you realizing it. Often I refer to putting on airs as our new podcast, and that motherfucker's almost 4 years old. Mm-hmm. But in the scheme of my podcasting life, it feels new because we've been doing this one for like 9 years next year, which is crazy or something like that. But yeah, but you're right. It's just now the hot fish, I think. Or unless there is a hot new fish in which it's the hot old fish, but I feel like I would have heard about a hot new fish.
Yeah, I think so too. Although I don't know, maybe not. I feel like they got the hottest, newest fishes in like Asia. Are we talking about only in America the hot new fish? You know what I'm saying?
I just feel
Are we
like
limiting it to America? Because
I feel like it has to come to America for it to officially be the hot new fish.
Yeah, it's like you got to make it here. You know, it's like
because if
like
you can't make it here, you can't make it
like
anywhere.
Yeah, Robbie Williams, you know, is hot shit in England, but never crossed over in the U.S. So, you know.
You'd get us with the monkey, didn't you, Robbie?
The monkey,
you didn't get us with the monkey.
Yeah. Of they watch if he's a monkey. I never I don't know what they were. I mean,
Thinking,
it's fine to
I
just
bet it's a
make a
fun
British,
movie.
probably, but just to make a British biopic about a British star and everything is like fine. But during that period when they were like, and I get once they have it, they have the movie and they're like, no, this movie hits. We might as well try to sell it in America, I guess. But that was just funny how much of a no-go that was, like, because everybody in America is like, what, who, what the fuck are you, what is any of that,
Right. I
and then they
guess I
got like
kind of
mad
get
and
the thought
defensive
process.
about it.
Yeah, oh, they got so mad. They were like, "Oh, you don't like him in America, okay, with your tastes." And it's like, fucking scoreboard, dude. I don't know what to tell you, but like, we watched the fucking Queen biopic. That fucker's from over there. It's not the English of it. It's that Robbie Williams just don't hit for us. And I'm not saying he don't hit for me. I like plenty of his songs. It is wild though, and I think about this all the time. Like, I mean, he truly he's massive there, and there's still
Right.
just that disconnect, like, and that can happen most of the time if you are actually all of the time if you are massive in America, unless maybe it's like country music, sure, but if you massive in America, you got a footprint everywhere else. That's just how it be. But that's
Yeah.
not the same. Now, don't get me wrong, I
No.
would be totally fine with just hitting in one place. That'd be great.
Yeah, no, that's wild. I mean, I feel like for him, it's like, because again, he's, as I understand it, he's like, he's one of their biggest legends ever. I mean, obviously, we've all, like the fucking Beatles and the Stones and shit, which are also huge here, but like, he's like up. I'm not going to say he's with the, I don't know where he ranks. Is he like a British, like Michael Jackson? Well, even Michael Jackson was getting
Probably.
the biggest star on earth, but like
Right.
just for
For
England,
Brits,
he
yeah,
was that.
I think he's huge, man.
Right. So like, yeah, that's the impression I've gotten too. And it's got to be nuts to be that there, but not hit here really. But he's from there. So it's like, it definitely still feels like, obviously hitting. It's got to be more frustrating than anything.
Dude.
But there was, I'm sure this happened more than once. And also, I'm not saying these guys stuck around, but I remember once I went to go watch a Cage the Elephant show in Knoxville.
Yeah. Amber's been the one who said it was fire.
Yeah, you've never seen them live anywhere?
I've never seen them live, no.
I've
heard it's incredible. Yeah.
They're one of those bands. It's like they're live. So like I first saw them, of course. I first saw them, of course, at Bonnaroo when they just had the one song out, "Ain't No Rest for the Wicked." That first song of theirs, they had that one song out, and we were all like, "Yeah, that song hits for us." We didn't know anything else about them, but we'll go check it out at Bonnaroo. And me and the whole group I was with were like fucking blown away by them. Also, they're from Bowling Green, Kentucky, which is less than an hour from where I grew up. So so they hit for me. But their front man, their whole energy is just bananas. But anyway, I already knew that. I mean, I haven't been to a concert to hit, and I couldn't tell you how long. So it's been forever since I've seen them. But I probably saw 4 or 5 of their shows over the years. And I went to one of them once in Knoxville, and their opening act was a band called Biffy Clyro, right? And
they're huge in
they were
London.
They were opening for Cage the Elephant at a oh wait, okay, never. All right. Well, part of what I was going to say about this is wrong because I thought Biffy Clyro. No, well, they're Scottish. It turns out Biffy Clyro makes a lot of sense. I thought I remembered looking them up at the time, and I thought they were like similar to Cage the Elephant, meaning in terms of origin. I was thinking they were an American band, so never mind. I was thinking that they were like one of the headliners at fucking Glastonbury, right? That same year, because I saw them on the poster and was like, what the fuck? Because they opened for Cage the Elephant at like the Valerian is what it was called. I don't even know it's still there in Knoxville. Like not a fucking arena, not a huge place. Like this was years ago, relatively early, and they were like, the whiplash of that's got to be bananas. But I didn't realize they were from over there, so that's probably all in the game for them. The effort of trying to make it in America. But I tell you who I do think experienced at the beginning
the darkness.
What I was going for just now, but failed with Biffy Clyro is the Kings of Leon. I'm pretty sure, being from Oklahoma, that they popped first in England and Europe and shit, and were like
they do a festival
arenas,
there or something,
arenas and shit like that over there before they actually hit in America. And then of course they did hit in America and became huge for a little while there, but it's just got to be wild. I feel like when it happened, like imagine if you got immensely popular in like Switzerland
Would love it.
tomorrow. Right. But
Yeah,
that, yeah,
would be
it
crazy.
has to be popular anywhere. But like, I don't
But
know.
walking
That's
in
just
your
gotta,
own country and nobody knowing who you are, but going internationally and there's a mob would be crazy.
right. Or
And,
actually do that.
happened-
Fuck all that. And, we have this in comedy. Again, he ended up like hitting at a real high level. But for a long time, Russell Peters, who's Canadian,
I
not
was
American,
about to bring him up.
But he, you know, you can't, like all Canadians, he doesn't, you know, he could pass for an American. He
can pass
for
for
a
a lot
long
of things.
Yeah, for a long time, he was literally the biggest comic globally, and
But
would
not
do
here.
massive shows in India and Asia and all, like literally all over the world, but not here. And like that, I don't know. That's just again, the hitting part of it hits, of course, but it's got to drive you a little bit crazy. And like all these other people
Happens
we
to
brought
wrestlers
brought
all the
up,
time.
Russell Peters did. Yeah, that happens to them in like Japan and shit, right?
Japan. Yeah, Stan Hansen is like, and he's super. And in real life, he is a country boy, Texas boy, or whatever, and that's the character he played on TV, chewing tobacco, bull rope. Like one of my, how good he is that two of my favorite matches ever are him versus Lex Luger, and it's the only way a Lex Luger match would be one of my favorites. It's a bull rope match with him, and he's so fucking good, and he's so American, and blah blah blah. But like. Nowadays, I've worked with him at conventions and like the line's whatever, but not to me. I'm like, how the fuck are more people not here for Stan Hansen? This is crazy. You know, he's an American hero. And I talked to his son and he's like, bro, I ain't even worried. And I was like, why? He goes, you should see this shit when we're in Japan. He's like, he might as well be goddamn Hulk Hogan. And I believe him. And I looked it up and he's like, sure enough, Stan Hansen he can't walk around Japan without people wanting him to put him in a fucking headlock and shit. But over here, sure, somebody every now and then.
Yeah, I don't know. It might, depending on the person, there might be some people might kind of like part of that.
He seems to love it. He leaned in and married a Japanese woman and just moved over there. So,
yeah, well, no, again, I know you like the hitting part of it, but I mean, like sometimes it's like, you know, having success but coupled with anonymity, depending on your personality and everything, can be something that hits for people. So, I just think of it more as like in terms of like being a draw or a headliner and like trying to sell tickets and like the idea that, you know, being able to sell out a massive fucking theater on the other side of the world, but you can't fill a club up where you're from or whatever would just, I don't know. I just feel like it'd be wild to deal with psychologically.
We've had a micro experience in it. Cause I remember like, it seems like in my brain, it was back-to-back weeks. It's like the WellRED tour, went through Austin and sold out Austin city limits. And then we went and played to 12 people in Buffalo, you know, which was just different regions, but also America, many people could say is 6 different countries in, you know, whatever. But like, that was how the fuck, what a wild 2 weeks to have in your emotions, you know?
No, that's still versions of that still be happening to this day. But, and yeah, it is weird. So I guess that's why I'm even, you know, framing this conversation this way right now is because of my own version of experience with it. But there's also no rhyme. It's like you said, they're different regions, but it's like, it varies wildly for me in different markets and not always in ways that I feel like automatically make sense. Yeah.
Right.
Sometimes some of them do make sense. One that we've always brought up, we can move on to something else after this, because I'm sure people don't give a fuck. But like Huntsville, Alabama, I've always thought you would think, just if you know anything about Huntsville, Alabama, you would think that would be like a fucking stronghold in terms of like markets or whatever for me. Because I know some people, like people in like Portland, you know, be like, oh, a crush in Portland, and you know, people in Oregon would be like, well, yeah, you know, for obvious reasons. Right. You know, of course, you hit harder here than in the South, but it's not. But there are other parts of the South where it.
North Carolina is like my
Nashville,
best
Raleigh, fucking Raleigh, Atlanta, Nashville, Austin, a lot of places in the South. So Huntsville is like fucking, you know, they got all that rocket science shit. It's like fucking, it's Alabama, but there's fucking smart people around and stuff, and you just think it would hit, but
and they're smart enough to not waste money on us.
Right.
I guess.
Yeah. We've had good times in Huntsville and stuff. It's like, it does not hit. It's just
hard
not
to sell tickets. Yeah.
Right.
The people that come are great, and I love Huntsville. Some of my best friends live there. I go there more than just to perform. Huntsville rules. Not trying to say that. It is just a weird market for comedy, and I know a lot of people that feel that way. It's odd. It's very odd. Speaking of comedy, though, I did have one thing I wanted to bring up. I was thinking, and I should have texted you and tell you I wanted to do this so you could think of some things, but fuck it, who cares? I was just thinking about like specific lines in comedy, like not full jokes, not just like sort of tags that just really stand out to me, and I think about them all the time, even if not within the context of the joke. And I think my favorite fucking line, just the economy of words here, and I think it's funny even if you say it out of context, was it's in the Ron White tater salad story, which is arguably the greatest fucking stand-up bit ever, in my opinion. Like it and the machine and like all type for that type, a long story. And the funniest fucking line that sticks with me, and I think about it all the time, especially when like me and Amber argue, is when he says, "I had the right to remain silent, but I didn't have the ability."
Yeah, right.
That's such a fun 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 words. 13 words says everything about that fucking joke, and it's so goddamn funny. And I was curious if there's like any lines that you can think of from like some Izzard bits that like just the line sticks.
Why did you say Izzard?
Because I know you like Eddie Izzard a lot, and he has a lot of lines like that.
Yeah, okay, but we hadn't talked about that because I don't know.
You're my best friend, Trey, and I know you like Eddie Izzard a lot.
I know, but what you don't know is I've spent the past few days like rewatching Eddie Izzard clips, like over this weekend. I know, that's what I'm saying. Like you were bringing this up, and I was saying like, oh yeah, I was just rewatching a bunch of Eddie Izzard.
I've got the branding. So. I've told you,
yeah, right,
forever.
Well,
I wore this hat so you could bring up your stupid shit. I know you, Trey.
I'm trying to think like what really like counts though, because there's some of them it's just like. I mean, I could think a ton from just Eddie Izzard alone where it's like, again, but I'm not saying they all would work without the context. I think most of them probably don't, but it's like,
well, whatever, just great tags, you know?
There's one where he's talking about, how JFK at the he went to the Berlin Wall or whatever and gave a speech, and he said something like, "Ich bin ein Berliner," which is supposed to mean, I am a Berliner. He's like, but the thing that Americans didn't realize is that actually, and I may not have this exactly right, but he was like, ein Berliner is a very popular type of like pastry, like a donut there in Berlin. So it sounded like he said, I am a donut. And he's like, all the Germans there is like, what's he mean? I'm a donut. He's like, and then the line is, he's like, well, he's American, he's a fucking donut. He's a fucking donut, and there's him as God played by James Mason. He goes, "Jeezy crazy, what on earth is that?" Which is him talking to Jesus.
That's my favorite Eddie Izzard line is King Prince Charles or whatever going, "A plumber, what on earth is that?"
Yeah. Yes, that's great. And right after the Jeezy crazy thing, he's like, "Holy Ghost, this is not an episode of Scooby-Doo." And there's let's see, Cake or Death, obviously. It's like, do you have a flag? No flag, no country. Can't have one. Those are the rules that I've just made up. Fucking most, like Mussolini, talking about Mussolini bringing fascism to Italy or whatever. And he's like, well, most Italians are not fascists. They're riding around on scooters going, ciao. Fucking, yeah, almost everything that motherfucker does, he's talking about, there's nowhere he's talking, because that's kind of almost like his whole style really is that type of thing.
I think that's
feel
why
like
my brain goes to Ron White, because like, I don't think that any of us intentionally molded ourselves on Ron White, but it was impossible for him not to rub off because of when he popped off and who we are and how we sound or whatever. And that fucking line, like I think about it all the time, like, it makes me so mad that I didn't think of that shit. Because, like, I mean, obviously he thought of it way before I could have ever thought of it. But, like, that is such a perfect me line. And then I hear him saying, I go, I can never recreate that even in the aggregate. This is, he said a thing that is so good, and now nobody can ever say that again or have that fucking thought. Like, it's just, it's that, there's so many of those in that story where I'm like, God damn it. I have to, like, when I'm telling a story, not even trying, I'll have to go, what is that a thing Ron White said that's so cemented in my brain that that's just how you tell stories,
Yeah, there's another Eddie Izzard has a bit where he's talking about how, and this is from Dress to Kill like 25 years ago, but it's still true though. But he was talking about
So ahead of its time, that
how
special.
insanely so. It's like also like, well, I don't know, so much I could say about fucking Eddie Izzard and
That's
that
for another
special and everything,
episode.
but like, he
I'll
has a
watch
bit
it
about
and we
how
can talk about it on POA this week.
American movies versus British movies.
Yeah.
And Americans all exploding and shit, and British people's like people, room with a view of a lake and a pond and stuff like that. And when he goes into an act out of the British movies, like British movies are sort of just men opening doors and going, oh, I'm sorry, what is it, Sebastian? I'm arranging matches. It's just. And it's perfect, And then
it's so great.
Later, he does a callback to that when he's talking about American movie, Star Wars, huge spectacle or whatever. And he's like talking about mixing them together or whatever. And it's like, what is it, Lieutenant Sebastian? He's like, it's just the rebels, sir. They're here. And it's like, and that's all he says. And it's so funny. And then the guy's like, oh, what do they want? And he's like, I'm not sure what it is, but they've brought a flag. And, another great callback to the colonialism and flag bit or whatever. But yeah, no, that special is it's one of the fucking goats. And I feel like it gets, like, comedians definitely know it and know that it hits or whatever. But people in this country, at least, going back to the conversation we were having earlier, I feel like Americans who fuck with comedy don't properly rate Dress to Kill where I think it belongs, which is among some of the very best ever. Top 10 easy, maybe top 5 for me.
I could be wrong, but like the whole like culture now of goats or the goats or the Mount Rushmore, like we're such a, not that we've not always been obsessed with who's the best or who's whatever, but like now it seems like, and I think this is to our complete misery and disadvantage. We only talk about whoever we think is the top 4 or the top 1, and like Eddie Izzard, probably not one of those for me or for many people, but that doesn't mean he's not great. But I think we do that. We go, those are the 4, everybody else sucks. Like nobody else is good. And so because of that, like there aren't enough people that talk about Dress to Kill or A Good Catholic Boy by Richard Jeni. Like Richard Jeni, which he fucking killed himself, which didn't help, but like he had so many good back when they were putting that, you could only get a special on HBO like that. And it was, and by the way, it meant you ruled. It wasn't now, like, it wasn't like now where they just think, oh, they've got a TikTok following, so they might. Richard Jeni was so goddamn funny, but he rarely gets brought up because, again, unless you make that 4 or 1 cut, we're like, that's all we want to talk about. You know what I mean? And I feel like so many of the true greats sort of just, get lost. Like I personally don't think, not that he doesn't get his flowers, but I personally think Brian Regan ain't talked about near enough by not enough people because he's not on the Mount Rushmore or whatever. But like, I'm telling you right now, go watch any of his early specials. Brian Regan Standing Up, Brian Regan, the epitome of hyperbole, and tell me it's not. A lot of people will go with him, like I'm sure that they'd say with Eddie Izzard, like, oh, he just put on a dress and thinks that's funny, or oh, Brian Regan just makes faces so he thinks that's funny. I'm like, no. Listen to how sharp the joke writing is, how the economy of words. Like I said, like if you watch a Regan thing, each one of his goofy faces doesn't make up for something that wasn't funny. It highlights something that was and takes it to the stratosphere. You know what I mean? It's not like throwing in the word fuck because you couldn't think of anything else. This was funny. How can I put an exclamation point on that? And also, if you removed any word, it wouldn't be as funny. And if you added another word, it wouldn't be as funny. He did it. Like he figured it out. You know what I mean? And those fuckers should be talked about more.
Yeah. The other thing with Eddie Izzard too is it's like you say, oh, people would. I remember one time some fucking dumbasses I went to high school with like came by my house just to see what I was up to. We're like teenagers at this point. And they walk in.
But Trey's doing some gay stuff. Let's go.
They walked in. I was watching an Eddie Izzard special. I actually think it was Circle, the one after Dress to Kill, which I also loved. But Dress to Kill is again all timer for me. But they walked in and saw that and were just like, of course, like what the fuck is it? Whatever. And I was like, just listen to it for a second. Yeah. It's fucking funny. And of course they just wouldn't. But hey, that in Dress to Kill in particular, it's also like, here's one of the things I was going to say earlier. The general consensus is, I know me and you've talked about it before and largely agree, first of all, a fact is that stand up is an American invention. Stand up and jazz. Everybody's
Frank
two
Fay, I
American,
believe, was the
two
first
American art forms. And so a lot of people still believe, and I mostly agree, that America is ahead of pretty much everywhere else in terms of stand up, and always has been, and it remains that way, right? And so there's outliers, like Jim Jeffries has long since been an outlier, right? He's one of the very best there is, in my opinion, which his new special, if you haven't seen it, fucking rules. But anyway, Eddie Izzard, British stand up 25 years ago, doing stuff that was miles ahead of so many contemporaries at that time, because it also was the shit that he was talking, like he was fucking smart. He was smart and hitting. He was talking about, I know you love this shit. He's talking all these bits about history.
Oh my God.
The history of religion and languages and all this stuff.
I'd love to be him, but I can't because I'm not as smart as him.
Right. It's like, you were
supposed to disagree just kind of comically, just like, oh no, Cho, you're smart.
Oh, sorry. Well, no, I agree with you about that in terms of myself too. I mean, I'm saying, I feel the same way, but, I don't know. Because we've also talked about before about how, like, I feel like there's other British comics that do that, and you hit over there. It's a whole thing. I brought it up plenty of times.
Jimmy Carr's huge over there.
But like, even more than him, like Stephen Fry, for example, like over there, you could be an intellectual and a comedian, and they're like, they go with that. But in America, we mostly are like, no, you're supposed to be dumb. Like, like
honestly, Mark Maron hitting real hard right now is a miracle, and I'm glad.
Right. But usually it's like, you can be brilliant like Bill Burr is, but on stage, you got to be like, don't fucking listen to me. I'm an asshole. I don't know anything. I fucking failed. Like, we always have to present it that way, because otherwise it's pretentious and people don't like it in this country. But like in England, they can get away with it. But Eddie Izzard was doing that and hit in America at the time as a fucking, what he called an executive transvestite. He was cross-dressing and shit while doing it, and doing big crowds and shit. That Dress to Kill, I don't remember. I think it was filmed in DC or New York. It was filmed somewhere in America. I know that. And it, huge crowd. So he's just wild, man. He was wild.
Yeah, he is. And he's one of the greats without question.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I think we can wrap her up now.
We can, but do you know what I have to do after we do this?
What?
I have to go to my first ever school open house as a parent. Bane's going to preschool.
How? Already? God damn.
It's a Mother's Day out thing where it's just on Wednesday, but it is preschool. They do the thing. I'm not happy about it, but it's happening to me. And I have to go and meet new people. Yeah, that don't hit. No, it don't hit. It very don't hit. So I just wanted to say that out loud to somebody who cares. Well, anyways, where are you going to be? Via con Dios, baby. Thank you. My next shows, I believe, are in, I think, upstate New York. I got like Buffalo and Albany and Syracuse and stuff, Hartford, Connecticut. And then there's also a run through Northern Virginia coming up soon, Alexandria and Rocky Mount and some other places. And then after that, there's like Milwaukee. I'm all over the place. Go to TreCrowder.com. We got stuff booked all the way through like spring of next year already. There's tons of them. South Carolina, Oklahoma City. Me, Cho, and Drew will be in Nashville at Zany's together before Christmas, like we always are. That's all on there. So go to TreCrowder.com and come see me, please. Hey, if you want to subscribe to my bonus stuff on my Hero, or you want to get a cameo from me because the holidays are coming up and I stay booked during the holidays, so go ahead and get that out of the way and you can forget about it. Go to CoreyRyanForrester.com. It's got all those links. I'd love for you to do that. Thank you all for listening to the WellRED Show. We love to stick around longer, but we got to go. Tune in next week if you got nothing to do. Thank you. God bless you. Good night and skew. Fart. Fart.
Putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. We collected from our love of Downton Abbey. We collected, we found out we're both so fancy. Hey, what's the difference between rednecks and royal families? Only money, cause they both have sex with family. Ew. Putting on airs. What other rednecks to talk about foreign affairs? Laughing so hard that we end up falling out our chairs. Sir Trae, Sir Corey, oh what a pair. High class topics with a redneck flair. Oh yeah. Two rednecks but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. Two rednecks but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. Okay, team squad up, team Trae. Oh yeah, we keeping it basic. He thinks that the squirrels at Corey's mom's house are racist. And you know squirrels live in the same place for generations. So Trae, you better count your days and you better count your blessings. Cause all the squirrels that you ran over, that you think are nameless, faceless, their families are getting together and plotting on you from the attic and basement. So even though Corey is dumb, fat, and bald, he knows how to avoid drama, don't get squirrels involved. Two rednecks, but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs. Two rednecks, but we're still fancy, putting on airs. We might not know much about history, we don't care. We gon' get drunk and we talk about yachts. We gon' get drunk and we gon' talk a lot. Dress real fancy, sit in our chairs, sip on our tea, putting on airs.